We're at Chief Screamin' Chicken's hippie compound. So the story goes, Chief Screamin' Chicken was driving through the desert, his truck broke down here, and he decided to just build a house and live here. Some hippies came by and asked him what he was doing, and he told the hippies, you guys could stay here for free as long as you help me build my house. Well, the hippies weren't going to go back to the city and get jobs and pay rent, so they decided to stick it to the man and just live here for free. They all wandered through the desert collecting sticks and stones and mud and whatever they could find, and with the help of the drugs that the hippies smuggled into the compound, this is what they came up with. When the chief saw what he had created, he knew the spirits would be proud. So he put this big handle on top of the house in case the spirit spaceship came down, it would have something to hook onto and haul them all the way to the spirit planet where no one has to get a job or pay taxes. There's no police to arrest you and put you in jail for possession of illegal drugs. They could all just sit around having drug-fueled hippie orgies, and no one has to take a bath. Luckily, Chief Screamin' Chicken had enough insight to realize that he needed to put his compound next to the highway because stores were so far away. They all learned how to survive by eating dead coyotes they found along the highway that got ran over by trucks. And this is a statue of Chief Screamin' Chicken on the warpath, all pissed off because the hippies ate all the coyotes and didn't leave none for him. In the evenings, they would relax by filling their bongs with the devil's lettuce, passing it around, and picking fleas and ticks out of each other's hair. The hippies' homemade candles did not supply enough light, so they decided to steal the windows out of people's cars and cement them in the side of their house to get enough light to see what they were doing. They had no indoor plumbing or toilets. The hippies didn't mind, but the chief was getting very concerned because he was sick and tired of the hippies crapping all over his front yard. So he decided to drill a well. He went out in the desert and found this abandoned well drilling derrick from the 1850s. He hauled the thing home and set it up and got ready to drill a well. And then he realized, oh hell, I'm going to need a steam engine to run this thing. Well, that created problems because steam engines require water and they had none. So the chief decided next time it rains, he would send the hippies out in the desert with buckets to collect rainwater to run the steam engine. Well, the hippies did not like this idea because running around in a rainstorm reminded them of taking showers. And that's when the relationships started getting strained. The hippies soon became disillusioned and packed up all their bongs, their little bongo drums, and their broken guitars, and headed over the highway, walked out to the railroad tracks, and jumped the freight train for San Francisco because they heard Janis Joplin and the Grateful Dead were giving a free concert in Golden Gate Park. Not much longer after that, Mrs. Screamin' Chicken finally had enough, and she packed up the Screamin' Chicken children, took off down the road, and moved in with her Aunt Flo in St. Louis. Poor Chief Screamin' Chicken. He became more and more depressed until one day in 1989 he committed suicide by shooting himself in the head. The end. Well, alrighty then. Let's get back on the road and go check out some new stuff.
This is the Arnold Loop outside of Montello, Nevada, on the Nevada-Utah border. Just waiting for a train to come by. And what a bitch it was to get here. Look at that shit out there. Miles and miles of dirt road to get here. There's nothing within miles of this place.
The Arnold Loop is not a true loop, it's more of a horseshoe curve. It was engineered by the Western Pacific Railroad to maintain 35 miles of 1% grade to get their trains up over a 6,000-foot summit.
This is Dave, Mr. Northeastern Montana. Tell him hi, Dave. Tell him about how you grew up around here.
I grew up with Mr. Northeast Nevada.
Oh, that's right.
At the end of Pilot's Range here, Ryle. You can see it, it's in the sun down there. That cliff, you live in between there.
That farthest peak down there.
It's not really even a peak, it's like
Which one's it? What peak is it, your property? The one with the green
right
on
here.
it?
Yeah. It's at the bottom of these.
Alright, we had to cut Mr. Northeast Nevada off because a train is coming around the loop.
And there she goes. Back down the other side of the loop. Back out to the highway. Back to the main line. Off to Salt Lake City.
Alrighty, now we're heading out to the ghost town of Metropolis. Metropolis was founded by a guy named Harry Pierce who started the Pacific Reclamation Company. They purchased 40,000 acres of land in 1910, built a dam on the headwaters of the Humboldt River, attempted to irrigate the desert, and turned it into a thriving little farming community. Once the dam was complete, people started to move here. And this is what's left of the Metropolis Hotel. It was a modern building with electric and hot and cold running water in every room. This is what it looked like back in the day.
It's an old hot water heater in there, or an old water heater. It's got all these little rooms around it, and the top of them got these grates on it, like for what? To catch water or something? To keep, is it their little jail cells? I don't know. What was this place?
So in 1912, the railroad extended a spur out to Metropolis. The population began to grow, and they had to build this school. This is the old Metropolis School. And here's what it looked like back in the day. Most of the bricks used to build the school came from the San Francisco earthquake of 1906. Apparently they got a bunch of them for cheap and loaded them on a train and shipped them out here.
Some of the bricks from the San Francisco earthquake.
So at first, it seemed the town was a great success, but it ensued encountered serious problems. Pierce and the dam builders failed to obtain the water rights to the creek they had dammed up, and all the downstream towns decided to sue. The courts prevented him from impounding any water behind his dam to irrigate, and because of this, the residents could not irrigate, so many tried dry farming wheat. The coyotes became a major issue, so they killed all those off. But then the jackrabbit population exploded, so they killed all those off. And then the Mormon crickets moved in like a plague of locusts, and that put the nail in the coffin for the farmers in Metropolis. The Pacific Reclamation Company declared bankruptcy in 1920. In 1922, the railroad discontinued service. By 1924, only 200 people remained. The amusement hall and hotel burned down, and the last store closed in 1925, and the post office pulled out in 1942. So now we're at the Metropolis Cemetery, and I was really surprised to see how good of shape they kept this graveyard in. I mean, it's not like they had to mow grass and water it out here, but the graves and the grave markers themselves are in better shape than a lot of the ones in my local cemetery in my town. So I went around and took some video of the more interesting graves from some of the people that would have lived here back when the town was booming. Before I end the video, I just want to do a disclaimer. A lot of the Chief Screaming Chicken story, even though it was based on a 2-story, I took a lot of liberties and made a lot of crap up, but the rest of the video was pretty much factual. So thanks for watching, everybody.